Hey everyone, welcome back. This week's post is about welcome back. This week's post is about eyebrows. And believe it or not, I can relate this to the soul and soul growth, so just hang in there. So this is about how eyebrows and growing and forming your eyebrows it's very similar to becoming your real soul. It's a very similar process. So here goes. I'm obsessed with eyebrows, and I always have been. No one really ever taught me how to form my eyebrows, so I took it upon myself in high school to overpluck them, and I looked retarded. And not terrible, but too thin and too archy, and then I grew them back in, and then I was forever just obsessed with not having them like that again. I won't even let anybody wax them because I didn't want somebody to mess them up on accident. I was very anal about it. So, and everybody always, even though I grew them in, they were still kind of thin, like thinner than they are now. It's getting to that point. Just hang in there. This will all make sense at the end. So I always just had them, and they were nice, and I always got compliments on them, but I don't know, it just, my face never felt like I wanted it to, or like it looked like me. I don't know, I knew they were pretty awesome, but then I never had the patience to grow them in more, and I thought, well, that's just not what you do. And I'd always heard when you pluck your eyebrows for so long, they just won't grow back in. And there's a lot of truth to that. So I decided when I was pregnant with my daughter, or maybe she was already born. Anyway, it's been over a year. She's 18 months old, so maybe even 18 months. I decided to start growing my eyebrows in more because I kind of actually started looking at like what makes an eyebrow on people's face. Like the actual angles and things. And once I started looking at it on my own face, I realized mine are too thin and too archy, and it doesn't suit my face structure. So that's when I kind of went on this mission to figure out why they look bad or don't on me and everybody else. So that was kind of where this all started. So I started growing them in, and especially mine are dark, and it was a pain. And my mom looked at me one day and said, "Do you need to pluck your eyebrows?" And I was like, "Mom, I'm growing them in. Just ignore it." And anyway, I think I even cut my bangs to kind of hide the fact that they were growing in and looked so ridiculous, because it looked ridiculous, but I was determined to grow them in more. So I put up with it, and I just kept, so I did start kind of coloring them in a little bit to fill in the spaces. And then it took me back to a memory I had in high school when I took pictures with a pro photographer to go to this modeling competition in LA. And granted, I was always a very outgoing, on-stage little girl, and as I got into puberty, I just kind of went into a shell and became the shyest person on the earth, really. And so at this point, I still could entertain and perform on stage, but I was terrified any other time in life. It was ridiculous. But so anyway, I was going to this modeling competition, half knowing that I could pull it off if I wanted to, but I didn't have the confidence that I used to. I was just totally stuck in my own shit, looking back like, how stupid was I? I mean, geez, boy, the things you learn when you look back. Anyway, I had my makeup done to take these pictures, and I did not see the person I see now when I look at myself. Thank God. But so they put eyebrows on me, like colored them in, put makeup on, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I look ridiculous. So these pictures turned out horrible because I was so wrapped up in how dark they did my eyebrows. I couldn't. So then if you know anything about makeup and pictures, makeup artists' eyebrows make a face. They always color them in, especially on film or camera. You just have to. It's like the picture frame for your face. Well, at the time I didn't know this. It just felt ridiculous, right? And I also didn't wear any makeup, but like a little bit of eyeliner and mascara. It's almost like I didn't want to stand out too much. So this is all coming to a point, I promise. So, and I've been that way until probably the last 6 months of my life. I didn't want to stand out too much. I didn't want to wear red lipstick or makeup. I think they also put bright lipstick on me, and I was like, oh my God, I can't stand out like this, that's too, no. And I was terrified. And so, of course, I didn't do well at the competition because your picture, I wasn't confident. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference between looks wise somebody who makes it and someone who doesn't. It's just that someone who makes it believes in themselves and goes after what they want, and this one over here is like, oh, I'll just let it happen to me. Well, guess what, that life doesn't, you can let life happen to you, but it won't be the life you want to create, I promise. So point being, what is inside is what really matters. So when my husband and I started studying Chinese face reading, and he was listening to a lady talk, and she said the eyebrows in Chinese face reading are the confidence of a face. And I was like, oh, dear Jesus, I've figured it out. What do women do to their eyebrows? They pluck them out really thin, and they just sort of disappear into the background. When you put eyebrows on a face, it brings it forward. It amplifies what's there. It frames your eye. It's like the frame for your soul. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. Guess what the eyebrows are? It's like the picture frame that brings it all together. So trust me, beautiful and the pursuit of inner beauty and confidence is spiritual. It is your divine right as a soul to want to look your best in your sexy meat suit, and I'm stealing that from somebody that I saw on Facebook last week because I thought it was hilarious. You are a divine soul in a sexy meat suit, okay? This body, it's not really you. It's just your house for the time being, okay? Your face is just the face your soul chose to best experience itself in this physical existence, third dimensionally on the earth right now. So live it up. Look your best. Don't overpluck your eyebrows anymore. Seriously. Back to the eyebrows. So when women overpluck themselves, they fade into the distance. They do, I think, slowly lose part of themselves. I don't know if it was irony or just timing or what, but I can tell you that in my journey to growing my eyebrows, I've also journeyed to become my true soul, and I am astonished at the eyebrow thing. I really am. And honestly, I think it's my favorite piece of makeup now that I actually can wear it and feel like I deserve to look my best. Because the whole makeup thing, like I said, I didn't want to look too overdone or too pretty for fear I might make somebody else feel bad or stand out too much. Like, heaven forbid I look my best or wear my hair how I want, or, who knows, all these silly things we tell ourselves. So my journey, they did totally coincide for me growing my eyebrows in, and the funny thing is I'm still not there yet. This one grew in perfectly fine. This one is all splotchy still. It's like this side of my face won't grow. It has taken the same amount of time, and it's still not grown in. And this is my male side, the right side. So I'm still trying to get what part of me is still not confident enough to let that really grow in and be my full arch, my full eyebrow frame. So I'm still working on that. So until then, I'm going to fake it till I make it, and I'm going to have to use a little bit of thing to smooth it out, so you can't tell I have a giant gaping hole in my eyebrow right there. And I think it's also a lesson in detachment, right? Because when I sit and stare at it every day and think, grow in, grow in, grow in, that's resisting it, right? So now, in the last few days, it's been like, this is a lesson in manifesting. You have to be detached to the outcome. I have to love myself, even if this eyebrow never grows in all the way. I might look silly without my eyebrow pencil on, but so be it. It's just my sexy meat suit, and I have a funked eyebrow. So what? That is the detachment, and I have to be okay if somebody sees me without my eyebrows on. And another thing about the confidence is once you get used to, like, I just forced myself to color them in, like, just a little bit every day as I was getting used to it. And I would see myself and be shocked almost, like, I don't know if I can do this. And it seriously was a transformation within me, I swear. So now that I'm used to it, it's almost like I would rather have put myself forward like that than not. It's almost like the thing I say in your business. There comes a point where you don't care if you're scared anymore. You have to serve more than be scared. It's the same thing with loving yourself and recognizing your beauty for whatever it is. There comes a point when you just say, I just love myself. I would rather just love myself imperfectly than care about all the flaws. And you know what happens when you do that? The flaws fade away. It's beautiful and magical. So the whole point of this rant is that the eyebrows are the seat of your confidence. I say it in Chinese face reading. Start looking at people's eyebrows, and it is kind of eye-opening, literally. You can totally change how a person looks by the shape of their eyebrow. And if men hardly pluck their eyebrow, and they have beautiful brows. Look at a child. We don't go around plucking their eyebrows. Let your brows be very natural. I mean, you can still kind of like make them, pluck the strays, but keep the natural shape to them. That's how they're supposed to be for a reason. So it is the seat of your confidence. Let your truth shine. Frame your face. Don't be afraid to be you. You're not going to make others feel bad. You're going to help them to step forward and be their shining true soul too. Rock your sexy meat suit. It's a lot more fun, I can promise you. It's so much more fun when you just get over your crap, Like, put your best face forward. If you want to wear makeup or not, that's your own choice. But the point is, come from the right place. Don't put makeup on to feel more beautiful. Put makeup on to just amplify what's already there. That's all it does anyway. It doesn't change what you look like. You may think that it does, but it doesn't. At the end of the day, it does not change what you look like. It just kind of gives a boost to what's already there. And then if you don't wear it for fear of making other people feel bad, then that isn't from a divine place either. So if you come from the right place and, rock your sexy meat suit, rock your face, bring your best self forward and shine in the world, it inspires everybody and it gives them permission to do the same. And that's probably a stolen quote too. It's not my own, but it's the gist of it. So start looking at your eyebrows, grow them in. And if you don't feel confident, go look at your eyebrows and see what you're doing to yourself. Are you slowly picking yourself apart so that there's no more of you left? That's what I was doing. It's worth looking into. There's a reason why photographers and makeup artists and movie stars, there's a reason why they fill in their eyebrows on film. It brings your face out. It's beautiful. Be the beautiful you. You don't have to color your eyebrows in. This is just a metaphor for what do you really think about yourself. If you're plucking and plucking and plucking away at your eyebrows, what are you doing in your head, internally? Probably the same thing. So next time you go to pluck your eyebrows, don't. And just tell yourself that you're beautiful and lovely and let them grow in a little bit. If somebody tells you to pluck them, say, go pluck off. Growing them in. And you don't want to have no eyebrows when you're 80 because I know when you pluck them, it takes forever to grow back in. It took some real encouragement and rosemary oil and all kinds of stuff to get those things to grow back in. So if you pluck away, you're not going to have any left when you're 80 also. And then you will have to paint them on. So just do yourself a favor and start young and grow them back in. And you'll thank me when you're 80. Okay? Have a beautiful, inspiring spiritual week. Become, and that just means be your true soul. Okay? In your sexy meat suit. Love you guys.